All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Dynasty Warzone Coffee Talk Week 12. It was a pretty weird week for fantasy purposes, and I'm going to touch on rookies specifically. So, I just want to take a moment of the time to say we have a sponsor for our show now. It's Viridian Global. And if you want to buy a couple shirts and hoodies on me, we have a discount code now that is MBC2020, and you save 10% off on your first purchase. And tell them that Matty Big Chest sent you. That is at viridianglobal.com. They have great apparel. It is top of the line. This is one of the shirts I have right here that's made by Viridian. It's a great brand. They do a great job over there. And that, again, is MBC 2020 on their Viridian wear. So I just want to take some time to gloat and say that Antonio Gibson is a monster at running back. People didn't believe me. People doubted me. People called me crazy for trading away 2021 first for Antonio Gibson at the start of the year. I did it everywhere I could because I knew he looked good. This man could jump cut for days. Like if you can do a successful jump cut two times in a row, you're going to have some success in the NFL. This guy has patience. That reminds me of Le'Veon Bell when he's running. He played against a weak Cowboys defense. Let's say it's weak because it was. He played against a weak Detroit Lions defense, but he still put up good fantasy points, and that's when you want to see when they get opportunity like that. And speaking about opportunity, James Robinson, if you did not know this, James Robinson has taken all the snaps, all the opportunity at running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars besides 7 touches. That, to me, says future success for James Robinson and that they believe in him for the long term. And I would look to acquire him now and see if someone who's not in the playoffs has him, because you could add a very valuable piece and try to spin it that he's not going to be there next year with the draft and everything. But he should be there again as a starting running back next year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he looks good doing it too. He was the second highest scoring rookie in my leagues, in my fantasy leagues, from right behind Antonio Gibson, who put up a 3-touchdown game. You know, James Robinson's consistently been a running back 1. Why would you not want this guy on your team? He's a monster. Speaking about monsters, Justin Jefferson is continuing his monster rookie season. This guy, he can ball, man. I don't know what's up with him. He's just come out of LSU and he just destroyed everyone. So does this bode well for Jamar Chase coming into the 2021 rookie class? I think so. Justin Jefferson's success is unprecedented. He's putting up numbers that people have not seen for rookie wide receivers. Adam Thielen was hurt, so he was out of the game. But Justin Jefferson stepped up and had 2 touchdowns and 80 yards. That's a really good performance for a wide receiver. He really helped them stay in the game and win the game too. So, I mean, Justin Jefferson's a building block for your fantasy teams going forward. I don't think you should be selling him if you have him. I think you should be trying to acquire him or hold him because he is only 21 years old and he's already a stud at wide receiver. And wide receiver is one of the harder positions to transition to in the NFL. So I really like Justin Jefferson for that reason, and T. Higgins. T. Higgins seems to be quarterback proof. He played with Brandon Allen this last week at quarterback, and he still got a touchdown, and he got about like 20. I think he got 44 receiving yards on 5 catches. That's pretty good numbers for PPR leagues. T. Higgins is continuing to show that he is a wide receiver, dynasty wide receiver, borderline 1, borderline wide receiver 2. You know, he's a high-end wide receiver 2 right now for me in startups and everything. So T. Higgins, he might not be acquirable in your dynasty leagues, but if you do have him, you should not be selling him. He looks very good. If you could try to spin it that Joe Burrow is going to be out for a while and try to acquire T. Higgins, then do it, man. He is very good. He's worth having on your fantasy teams. I have him on a lot of my teams, and he's awesome. And speaking about guys that are awesome, Darnell Mooney. This man puts everything into his game. He was spreading out for catches. He was extending his body like just on the line for Mitch Trubisky's terrible passes. And he only had 8.4 fantasy points in PPR leagues to show for it, but he got a receiving 2-pointer, so he got a 2-point reception, and then he had 3 receptions for 34 yards. So that's pretty good. Like, I mean, for a rookie that was drafted in the 5th, I think, round, that's pretty good stats for someone going in with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. Once they upgrade their quarterback next year, I'm looking to buy Darnell Mooney right now because once they upgrade their quarterback next year, which they should, if they don't, they're crazy. then Darnell Mooney will have more opportunity and better opportunities as well because his quarterback won't be missing throws. Speaking about quarterbacks for next year, some wide receivers that I'd be targeting for next year. Denzel Mims. He's going to have Trevor Lawrence most likely as his quarterback. You know, you can't ignore the fact that Trevor Lawrence is coming to the NFL and he's going to light it up like all these other rookies have. You know, so Denzel Mims, he has to be the wide receiver one unless they sign a guy like Allen Robinson or Kenny Golladay in free agency. I see Denzel Mims stepping up in a huge role. Either way, he's going to be a wide receiver one or a wide receiver two or wide receiver three for scoring purposes. He might not be the wide receiver one on the team, but he will still be successful because he is a good route runner. He showed it as a rookie with basically Joe Flacco as his quarterback. And another guy who's been showing up is Laviska Shenault. And Laviska Shenault should have another quarterback next year as well. So this is a guy that I'm also targeting in most dynasty leagues. He's kind of hard to buy because a lot of people have hype around Laviska Shenault, so he's harder to buy than Denzel Mims. But, you know, he only put up 6.7 fantasy points with Mike Glennon at quarterback. That's 3 receptions, 31 receiving yards, and he had 6 rushing yards. So he's a good gadget player in that offense, and he should be a high-end wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2 for the future. You know, that's someone that I want on my fantasy team as a wide receiver 3 or a flex. Laviska Shenault will have Justin Fields most likely as his quarterback. So this is someone that I'm also looking to acquire because Justin Fields has a cannon. He is good on the RPOs. He's a dynamic athlete at quarterback, and that's something that you want to see because it helps your wide receivers out with the RPOs and everything. So, and especially since Laviska Shenault takes design carries, it's going to help them a lot. I really like the thought of investing in Shenault right now. And another guy that you should be investing in is CeeDee Lamb. His value has taken a hit a little bit. He's still expensive. He's still very expensive, but you know, with Dak Prescott coming back next year, his value will only get higher. So if you can get him right now, you're getting someone who will only raise in value. And, you know, someone who, let's go in an opposite route. Let's say someone who might only decline in value. Michael Pittman Jr., you know, if they bring in a quarterback who does not, like Sam Darnold, he's not going to utilize him the same way that Phillip Rivers likes to utilize those 6'4" wide receivers like Tyrell Williams before Michael Pittman Jr. and other guys. I think Michael Pittman Jr. has a great rest of the season outlook, but once Phillip Rivers leaves, it's going to be questionable for me. Quintez Cephas is another name you could look to buy right now for really cheap. The Detroit Lions' only wide receivers on their 2021 roster that are signed are Quintez Cephas and Geronimo Allison. So those are some names right there. Quintez Cephas is a name that you could be investing now in to pay dividends later. You could sell him easily next year if he's the wide receiver 2 in Detroit. You know, they should re-sign Kenny Golladay, but if they don't, maybe Quintez Cephas is that good and he steps up in his role. But I'm kind of questionable on Quintez Cephas, but he's someone that I would be taking a gamble on. I like his opportunity for 2021, but, you know, he's not going to do anything for you right now. Same kind of guy like that is Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet looks really good at tight end, but he doesn't have a quarterback to throw in the ball. He's a guy that you could be buying right now for pretty cheap, and he could blow up once he gets a good quarterback. It only takes a quarterback to use this tight end, man. Like we saw with Eric Ebron not being used in Detroit. Once he goes to the Ben Roethlisberger offense, he's used in the seams. He's used correctly. Cole Kmet needs to be used correctly. He's not being used correctly by his offense. He's a way better tight end than the corpse of Jimmy Graham. I want to see more Cole Kmet on the field. And I think that Matt Nagy will start showing and featuring Cole Kmet in that offense next year. If Matt Nagy's still around, his seat is getting pretty hot under him. Thankfully, the Detroit Lions fired the other Matt Patricia in the NFC North. There's 2 more Matts. There's a Matt LaFleur and a Matt Nagy as well. A lot of Matts in the NFC North. And I'm a Matt and I'm an NFC North fan, so it just works out for me. Another name, just my last name I'm going to give to you guys to go buy at wide receiver is Bryan Edwards. he was a training camp monster. Everyone was hyping him up. People have soured on him since. His value is lower. You know, um, it's something that I like Brian Edwards a lot, but he's kind of questionable, man. Like, why didn't he step into the wide receiver one role right away? Why hasn't he showed up? Why is Nelson Aguilar doing better than him? It's just what's up with him? What's up with his breakout age was 18 years old in the SEC, and he's not able to produce yet. It's something that I'm a little skeptical on for Brian Edwards, but I'm still going to be buying him, but not for too much. I wouldn't overpay for Brian Edwards, but I'd pay a second, maybe a 2022 second and a 2021 third for him. Try to see if that could get it done. Um, Maybe that's a little too much, but I'm not sure. Uh, Good news at quarterback, Justin Herbert. He's not hurt. His coach called a quarterback sneak, and his whole offensive line dropped into pass protection on the last play of the game this week. It made no sense. I'm not sure what the offensive line was thinking, but they need a new head coach, and Justin Herbert has only upside from here, man. Like, Justin Herbert's upside is sky high. If they hire Eric Bieniemy or another name to be the head coach for him, then you're going to see a quarterback who pops. He can make every throw. He changes his arm, his arm angle to make throws. It's just something that I like to see from quarterbacks, is that little sidearm that they can throw, because Baker Mayfield can't do it. If you saw Baker Mayfield this weekend, he missed a lot of throws. Just seeing this now, but how you doing, Jason? Hope work's going well for you, man. But yeah, YouTube chat, if you're live with me, I'll respond to your comments. So type in the chat. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing great. I just finished my homework for accounting. You know, it was a drag, but you know, I'm happy to be here talking football with you guys right now. And I really like this rookie class. I think that there's a lot of names, and there's a lot of faces that are going to be long-term dynasty assets from this class that we didn't see with other classes. You know, there's a lot of players in this class that have a lot of potential. So I'd be looking to buy as many of these top rookies as I can for the lowest price possible. Like a Cam Akers, if you can get him for pretty cheap, he looks like he's the future there in the LA Rams backfield. There's just a lot of names here, like Gabriel Davis. Even he's a talented rookie wide receiver who's a complementary piece to Stephon Diggs. You know, if you can get him for cheap, he's worth acquiring, because he can have these weeks where he has 16.9 points in a PPR league. That is good for a rookie wide receiver. That's really good. Chase Claypool, he hasn't even played yet this week, but he's a dynasty wide receiver 1/wide receiver 2 on the year. He's just putting up ungodly numbers with Ben Roethlisberger, a lot of touchdowns. He's looked at a lot in the red zone. He's a great big slot guy, but you're going to have to overpay to get him. So if you can get Gabriel Davis instead, you're getting a pretty good alternative wide receiver who is the wide receiver 2 in that offense, it looks like. Right behind, I'm not sure if it's Cole Beasley or Gabriel Davis, but it looks like Gabriel Davis will be the wide receiver 2 in that offense. So he's worth acquiring right now, in my opinion, because Josh Allen likes to spread the ball around besides the red zone, where he likes to take it in himself. But yeah, this rookie class cannot be undervalued. You have to go get these rookies now before they start blowing up in price. There's a lot of names I just gave you guys. I hope you follow my opinions, because I follow my own opinions. Yeah, so I'm gonna head out. Hope you guys have a great day, and later.